Lauma and Eino are brand new characters that were teased in the version 5.8 livestream, and based on pre-release information that we have, we just might know more about them than you think. So in this video, we're going to go through everything that is confirmed, including Lauma's vision, mostly confirmed, including her weapon type, as well as all the potential roles that she and Eino might have in the 6.0 meta. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. I guess first off, I'd like to say that I really like Lauma's design a lot. She is very much has fantasy druid vibes with obviously the horns, the leaves. We have not had like a pure fantasy style elf character at all in the game. I was just talking about how much I wanted one in Sumeru, and I really expected it since Sumeru really could have given elf vibes, but they went more the high-tech route, so we didn't get anything like this, and I'm really happy we're finally getting this style now. It's also teal, my favorite color, so yeah, I'm really excited for Lauma. And Eino, she's got a pretty cute design as well. I think mostly she gives 4-star vibes. I'm guessing 4-star from 6.0. But yeah, let's talk about their kits. I think one thing people might possibly have missed is that she seems to be able to turn into a centaur form and run around. So maybe we are going to keep getting exploration-based characters in Nod Cry, or maybe just certain ones will have it, or maybe this is just for show, but I think probably she'll be a good exploration character as well, but we'll have to see. We know Lauma's going to be Dendro. It's a bit blurry here, but we can very clearly see in the trailer that she has herself a Dendro vision. I know, it's very unclear on that picture, but if we pause right here on the live stream, it's still a bit small and blurry, but especially if you pause right here, it's very green, and there's just no mistaking the color. That's a Dendro vision, 100%, no question about it. So what's fun about that is that we actually had a prediction earlier on that predicted a 5-star Dendro female catalyst elf-eared Nod Cry High Priest to be coming in 6.0 in the second half, and that was predicted over a month ago. A very impressive prediction. They predicted a whole bunch of Nod Cry characters. Maybe we'll go over that whole timeline in another video, but to me this pretty much confirms that Lauma is going to be a catalyst weapon type, which if true is really big for her if she's a support. This gives her all sorts of supportive potential, such as Thrilling Tales, Hakushin Ring, etc, etc. If she's a DPS, there's still some good DPS options as a catalyst, including Widsith. So Catalyst is generally a good weapon type to beat. One unfortunate thing is that sometimes when a character is a Catalyst, in an effort to not make them too broken, they give them insane energy recharge requirements so that you effectively can't run both you can't run Thrilling Tales on a lot of characters and still meet their stat requirements. So even though it's like it's good in theory, it's only good if they let it be good, because like characters like Shenhe, she should be insane being able to pass Thrilling Tales, but she needs to build so much ER and base attack, or just attack percent, that Thrilling Tales is essentially useless on Shenhe, outside of maybe raiden teams. So I'm hyped, but I'm not like, crazy hyped right away. When we're looking at roles, I think the main thing to keep in mind is that being Dendro, there are a lot of things they can do with Dendro, just a million things. Dendro has a ton of reactions, and we haven't gotten a new Dendro support. We haven't got, since, like, aside from the burning with Kenichi and Emily, we haven't got a new Dendro support since Sumeru. Like, nothing at all, except for burning. So there is so much room to do different things with Dendro, and with Nod Cry adding in lunar reactions, this makes the possibilities endless. So I could see her being a DPS or a support role, absolutely. One of the first things that comes to mind is, what if she's just a general Dendro support? What if she creates lunar reactions for all Dendro reactions? That would be Aggravate, Spread, Hyperbloom, Burning, Bloom, Burgeon, just everything. She just does it all. I think this is very unlikely. I don't think that they're going to release a character, especially a 6.0 character, that is just a universal across-the-board support for all of Dendro. I just don't see that's happening. I think that that's expecting way too much out of a 6.0 character. Normally, people are really hyped at 6.0 just to start a new region, and they're not going to release the most OP broken characters right at 6.0 because people will be wishing just because it's a new region. So that's something that at least I've noticed, and they generally save their best characters for 1 or 2 or 3 patches in. Example, Shalonin, Farina, Novelet, they didn't release in 6.0. That being said, it's not saying that she couldn't be extremely strong. She absolutely could be. And I do think she will be very strong being a Dendro support. I just don't expect them to go all the way and make her super strong and super universal and just like essentially make a must-pull character releasing in 6.0. I just don't see it. What I see as the most likely is a Lunar Hyperbloom team. So I could see this being a support or a DPS. I'm kind of hoping, like, I'm gonna be happy with either, to be honest. A DPS would be great because I love her design. I'd love to see her on field, but a support would be great because there's a lot of Hyperbloom characters that could really use some support. Example, Alhaitham, Sino, even more than Alhaitham, obviously. Yoimiya. It'd be kind of better for the meta if she was a support and could bring up the other Dendro carries instead of being a broken Dendro carry that leaves all the other Dendro carries in the dust. It would just be better meta-wise if she was a support. And I have a theory as to what kind of support she will be for specifically Hyperbloom. My theory is that it will take the same base idea of Lunar Charge, which is Ineffa's design, where she makes Electro Charge be able to crit, essentially. I think that she will be able to make Hyperblooms crit. And you might be thinking, well, you know, Nahida C2 kind of already does that, and this would be different. She makes them do crit. She makes them crit based on your team's crit rate and crit damage, and maybe not based on EM. Just like Electro Charge is originally based on Elemental Mastery, but Lunar Charge is based on your whole team's crit rate and crit damage. I'm expecting Lauma to continue that design language and that trend and all the Hyperbloom damage is based on your whole team's crit rate and crit damage. Why do I think this? Well, this would work very well for 5-star units. 5-star units like Sino, like Alhaitham. It would actually give you a reason to want to trigger Hyperblooms with Sino instead of Keqing. So I really think that would be very good design, and it's also consistent with what they're doing with Lunar Charge. But not only that, it would also make Ineffa be likely a best-in-slot teammate for this team, because Ineffa can do a very good job, just as good a job as Keqing proccing Hyperblooms. But Ineffa doesn't want to build EM. She'll lose all her damage. She wants to build crit rate, crit damage, attack. But she has off-field ongoing Electro application and crit rate and crit damage. So if this Lunar Blooms were based on the team's crit rate and crit damage, you have Lauma creating that. You have Ineffa creating Lunar Charge, which, since you're going to be running Hydro on the team anyways, whether that be Farina, Yelan, whatever, you're going to have both Blooms and Hyperblooms and Electro Charges. So you're going to have Lunar Bloom, Lunar Charge, Lunar Hyperbloom, etc. You're going to have it all going. It's all going to be critting, and it's all going to be synergistic. And more importantly, it's pushing Hoyo's agenda of getting you to buy all the new shiny units. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and get Ineffa if you want to make Lauma. That's like way too far ahead of what we're going right now. We don't know the 6.0 artifacts. We don't know what Lauma's even going to do. This is all just speculation on my part, but it smells right to me. It feels like that we have a pretty good chance of seeing something like this come true. It's my leading theory, but there's other stuff. What could she do? She could do Lunar Bloom, so she could be like a new Nilou, I guess. Maybe she buffs all types of blooms. Maybe regular bloom, hyper bloom, and maybe she even buffs bountiful cores, which would be amazing. So then you can play her on a Nilou team, and Nilou finally gets a buff. That would be amazing. I don't expect them to give Nilou a buff, but that's something. The other thing I could easily see is a Lunar Rhymegrass type thing. So this one, I don't think maybe this is just as likely as Lunar Hyperbloom, to be honest, because we just got teased Lunar Rhymegrass in the Imaginarium Theater, which is a cryo-dendro reaction that is until now exclusive to the Imaginarium Theater, but she kind of gives vibes that she could do cryo. I could see her be doing the cryo Rhymegrass reaction. Like, in terms of just the visual style, it looks fairly similar to her. So I could absolutely see Lunar Rhymegrass, or whatever they want to call it, be a new reaction added to Lauma. That would also make sense because with that impressive prediction that we talked about, they also predicted a cryo medium male 5-star coming to Genshin for version 5.0. or 6.0, so if they work together, that would also make some sense as sort of a Rhymegrass duo. It would be super mean of them to pair two 6.0 characters that work together in tandem, and you kind of want both of them. That'd be kind of mean. I hope it's not like that. That's something that they could do. Obviously Lunar Burning / Burgeon, which I don't think so. Maybe Burgeon only if it's included with all the bloom reactions. And then Lunar Aggravate or Spread, sort of like Escoffier style for Dendro Electro. I could see that. She does have kind of purplish hair. I feel like they're not going to go that route because of Eino. I think Eino is going to be that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Overall, I could see her being off-field. I could see her on-field. And I know a lot of people are going to be wondering, what about Nahida? And I'm of two minds. I think it's 50-50. She could either be best in slot with Nahida or completely power creep Nahida. My thoughts are either they really want you to pull Nahida, so they run Nahida alongside Lauma, so that you have to, either you utilize Nahida and sort of baits you into getting Lauma, more uses out of your Nahida, or, which I find like quite likely, or they just power creep Nahida because Nahida, to be honest, doesn't do all that much. She provides a lot of Dendro, which is good. Dendro is, it used to be good. Dendro used to be a good element, but now at a baseline, Dendro is not a great element, so providing a lot of Dendro is not nearly as valuable as it used to be. In addition, Nahida can't apply it in multi-wave unless you switch back onto her, which is really bad. And her only buffing is that she gives a lot of EM, but only to the on-fielder. And it could be with lunar reactions that all the lunar reactions are based on crit, not based on EM. So overall, I don't know. I could absolutely see Nahida being best in slot, but I could also see her being power crept because she just doesn't do all that much outside applying Dendro. So that is Lauma. I think overall, this is lots of stuff to go off and very, very interesting. And for Eino, I thought about this a little bit, and I think that Eino looks Dendro coded to me, the green and the pink. I was thinking maybe pink for Cryo, but the green just kind of throws that out of the way. So what Hoyo kind of seems to like to do, at least they did this with Chevreuse, is use the two-tone colors for the two elements they work with. So Chevreuse is purple and red, and she works with Electro and Pyro teams. Overload. Eino is pink and green. So I'm thinking Dendro Electro. I'm thinking she is going to be, you know, the Escoffier or the Chevreuse for Dendro Electro teams. And I think she's going to be a 4-star. I think she's going to be free. That seems like a lot. Maybe she won't be free. Maybe she won't be the free 1.04 star, but I kind of feel like she will be. And that would be hella cool, to be honest, if we could get just a buff for aggravate and spread right off the hop. That would be amazing. I would be all over that. Some people might say if she's free, someone in chat, if she's free, she's probably bad. Probably, but they've given away Bennett a lot of times. They give you Xiangling in the Spiral Abyss for free. Obviously, those are old characters. You know, they didn't just go giving away Yansan, for example. But I think as a 6.0 release character, I could see them giving a good free character to entice people to come back to the game. Hey, we're giving away this free character, and they're kind of hella broken. I could see that absolutely being a strategy that they use. If it was middle of the patch cycle, I definitely don't expect that. But for a 6.0 launch character, I could see that happening, especially if that character is then used to bait you to buy a new DPS in the future. So you already have this great free character. Oh, look, they're best in slot 5 stars here. I better get them. So that I could see as well. Let me know your thoughts on Lauma and Eino. Let me know if you want to see that video on maybe a roadmap for all the Dendro characters that might be coming, not Dendro, all the 6.0 Nodcry characters that might be coming out, and subscribe if you want to see that. And if you don't want to do that, that is just totally fine. Watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.